Hello there, sword friends. Today I'm going to tell you about these boken from Kingfisher Woodworks, and as is customary for me before the video, some disclaimers and context. One, some of these are review samples. The L5 and L7 boken featured here are samples that were sent to me for free. I have to send them back, but if you think it makes me biased, then you know at the start. The L7 boken is one that I purchased as a replacement for the other L7 boken that I featured in a review some time ago. So I'll link that video in the description down below. It's a better answer to the question, why would you want a boken from Kingfisher, than this video will be. This video's intent is to discern the differences between the various offerings Kingfisher has. So if you want to get a boken from Kingfisher, but you're not sure exactly which one is the best and what the differences are, and are those differences real, then that's what this video does. So hopefully it's helpful. Now, do know as well, I study Japanese style swordsmanship. I study Katori. I can't show it on camera, so I'll blur some out of the video of me using it, but I have used the bokens. Hopefully, the Katori style bokens that are featured in this video are transferable to the other bokens from other styles that are offered at Kingfisher's website. So the L5 in Katori is hopefully similar to L5 in whatever iteration of the boken you're looking at. Likewise, the L7 and Enhanced. Kingfisher also offers a hand-cut version of bokens that I'm not featuring here. As far as I know, that is an L7 boken, which you'll hear about later, that is made without the use of power tools. So if you want something done the hard way, and that's an offering that isn't featured in this video, but it should be pretty similar to the L7 version, but with the added knowledge that it was done the hard way. And hopefully, if that's useful to you, then you know. But it is a little bit more expensive than the L7 by like $100 bucks or something like that. Anyway, that's the context I can give you for the video. On with the chatting. So, like I said, the point of this video is to go through some of the differences. I'm going to start with the L5 boken, which is the least expensive offering that Kingfisher has in a Katori boken at $120. It's supposed to be made out of hickory, and it's a very solid boken. Now, I don't know the exact difference. I don't know if there's supposed to be a finish quality difference between the L5 and L7. The L7 is $145. It's a $25 increase in price to get what is supposed to be a marginally denser wood, as in it's like a tighter grain structure in the wood and supposed to be a little bit denser. I think of it as like somebody picked out a piece of wood that's supposed to be a good one. That's what you're paying 25 bucks for. It does feel like there's a slight finish difference between the two of them, though I don't know that I could really say that it's a giant difference. It's like one shade of sandpaper higher, but both of them feel great in the hand. Both of them have the excellent attention to detail that I really like about Kingfisher. The way the boken transitions from the handle to the blade, which is the blade portion of the boken, is really well done on Kingfisher Woodworks. The handles, the scav portion has like slight swelling near where the kasha would be. It just feels like a very refined tool, and all of the boken have the same shape. All of them have the same attention to detail in that way. Between the $120 boken and the $432 boken, they all have the same shape effectively, and it all feels excellent. So they're all great training tools in that regard. But between the L5 and L7 boken, you're supposed to get a little bit denser wood. Was that the truth? Well, in terms of looking at it, I can't necessarily pick out the difference between a tighter grain structure. One does look a little denser, but I don't know necessarily what that means. So I brought them to class, and I did a single set of emote kata with both of these boken. And what I can tell you is that the L7 boken seems to have a little less damage as at the end of doing a single set of kata. So doing the same set of movements that I've done 1,000 times with these boken and only doing them once, it looks like the L7 boken has taken less damage than the L5 boken. It's a small amount, but it seems like the slight or smaller dings or smaller hits left much less impression or none at all, and the hard dings left about the same amount of impression. So when I really clacked the sticks together, it left a ding. It seems about the same, but I could swear, maybe it's my monkey brain here, but I'm thinking that the dings in the L7 boken are a little, they feel less deep, I guess, basically. But you can see the shadows in the camera. There's a little less damage to the L7 boken, but the price is also not that much different. It's a $25 increase for what's supposed to be a better piece of wood. It seems like it is. So I'm happy to report that. And I can tell you that I've bought the L7 boken. That's maybe the best endorsement I can give it, which I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the context section. I should note that the best endorsement I can give you is that I buy these products, right? So I used the L7 boken. I used it until it was at its end of life. And then I thought about sanding it down, which I could do and still get some more life out of it, but it would change the weight and feeling of it. So it seems like it's just reached the end of life, and I'm buying a new one. So that's the best endorsement I can really give it. It's the boken that I enjoy training with the most. When I broke inadvertently my teacher's boken, I got him an L7 boken as well. I think they're excellent products, and the extra $25 for picking out a nice piece of wood seems worth it to me. So that's the endorsement I can give it, is this is the one that I use. Now, as I mentioned, there's also another grade of product here in the hand cut variety. I'm not going to feature it because I don't have one here, but it's supposed to be effectively the same as the L7, but done without power tools. The next one up, though, is a pretty steep price increase, and it's the Enhanced Bokken at $432. So from $145 with the L7 to $432 is a pretty big price increase. And why is it? Well, it's supposed to be an acrylic penetrated some process that happens to push some acrylic resin or something like that into the wood and make it denser. Is it denser? Yes, both in proof. The L5 and L7 are about the same weight. The Enhanced Bokken, which is the same size and shape as the L5 and L7 boken, is about 2 ounces heavier. That 2 ounces you can feel when you pick a boken up, but not really when you move them around. If you kind of move them, the weight is spread over the entirety of the boken, and you don't really notice it in feeling. It moves just as nimbly as the others, but in picking it up, you can feel that it's a little, it weighs more, and you can notice it. Now, that said, when I'm clacking sticks together, I use the Enhanced Bokken to do the same set of one set of emote kata, but then I opted to use that for the remainder of class. So the Enhanced Bokken went through several more sets of kata, with pole arms as well, which tend to leave bigger dings. It's harder hitting when you're using a pole arm, and I practiced with the Enhanced Bokken for the remainder of class. And what I can tell you is at the end of it, the Enhanced Bokken had lots of little dings on it, but all of them very small. Some of the harder strikes really did not leave sizable dings. However, some of the strikes with pole arms did leave dings, but the dings in the Enhanced Bokken are smaller than the biggest dings in the L5 and L7 boken. So even though it was used for harder hits, for more of class, and for harder weapons and pole arms, which are also big hickory poles, it has less damage. So it does seem a more resilient product. So that's what you're getting. You're getting a boken that feels nimble, is really well made, has a refined shape to it, and is very, very dense and going to hold up well. And so that's the difference. From $120, get an excellent boken, feels great. $25 more, it gets you a more hand-selected piece of wood that's supposed to be a little denser, and what I could swear is just a little better finish quality. And then the Enhanced Bokken at $432, a big step up, but has a process of pushing resin into the wood and making it even denser and more likely to hold up if you're abusive with your weapons. Now, I suppose that brings me to, what do I spend my money on? Well, I've told you already, I bought the L7 boken, and I think that's a really great value. I wouldn't be unhappy training with any one of these things, but admittedly, $432 is a pretty substantial investment in a boken, and I don't know that I necessarily would train with that myself. I bought one 10 years ago, near a decade ago, and it has held up to the point where now I need to replace it. And so I'm not sure if I had bought the Enhanced Bokken 10 years ago, if I would be in the same boat. I would venture to guess no. I would probably have many more years left to do before it cracked, frayed, or did anything. But at the same time, I could buy 3 of the L7 bokens, get 30 years of training out of them before buying the enhanced version of the boken. And I think if you're going to beat sticks together and be kind of clubbish with it, no matter what, nothing's going to last forever in that regard. They're made of organic materials. It's not made of unobtainium. And no matter what you do, if you neglect it and treat it poorly, it's likely to have consequences for that. So I don't necessarily think that I would personally spend it on the Enhanced Bokken, but I can see that it does hold up better. It is different. That Enhanced Bokken is seems to abate damage a little bit more. Now, the folks at Kingfisher also noted that some of the damage on the Enhanced Bokken may change over time. Some of the dings might come out a little bit. I've waited 2 weeks between the two, and I don't see a very big difference between the end of class and the 2 weeks later after not being used. So it doesn't seem like it's self-healing necessarily. It might be marginally different, but not in a particularly meaningful way. Either way, it is denser. It does move well. They're all really, really nice, refined shapes. I think the L7 is my happy spot, but I can't help but wonder, if I had spent more money, would I not have to replace it? Would I still be using a boken and not have to worry about it? At the same time, I could get 3 of them instead of the enhanced version and and still have a little, a chance to buy a hamburger or something. Anyway, I think that the L7 is the sweet spot for me, but I'm happy to report that there does seem to be a difference between all of them. The L5 to L7, well, the difference is small, the cost is small. The difference that you get with the Enhanced Bokken is quite a bit more pronounced, but so is the price. And there's also the hand cut option in there. So hopefully what I've talked about here gives you some idea of what the differences are and where your money is best spent. I would absolutely say, though, that none of them are bad. I'm happy to train with any one of them, and I've enjoyed training with all of them, and I'm glad I got to experience all of these different boken myself, and I would still make the same choice that I did with the L7 boken. I think that's the sweet spot for me. But if you're not into Tori, hopefully the differences help you pick which boken you want from whatever series it is. Special thanks to the folks at Kingfisher Woodworks, by the way, for sending this my way. I really appreciate it, and hopefully it was useful to all of you. That's all I've got, though. Cheers, and thanks for watching.